a charming young woman moved into the apartment opposite. She lived alone, she had no children or husband. Violetta, that was the young woman's name, was very modest, but in spite of that she was very sociable, and after a couple of weeks everyone already knew that she had been widowed for a year and had moved here to forget herself. Violetta was good-looking, of medium height, with a chiseled figure, light wheat hair and soft blue eyes. No one knew where she came from or for how long, but despite this, all the neighbors immediately jumped on Violetta. They all wanted to patronize her. They felt sorry for the young woman, who at 25 had already experienced the bitterness of widowhood. Violetta was able to interest the interlocutor. She immediately made friends, as well as influential patrons. Every morning Violet put on a new dress, styled her hair beautifully, applied light makeup, and went out for a promenade. She could not be seen laden with grocery bags. She ate breakfast and lunch either in a cafe or in a restaurant, and for dinner she often ordered takeout. Violetta did not work anywhere, but she spent money left and right. Many said that her ex-husband was a wealthy man, although in fact it was quite different. Violetta talked to all her neighbors, but for some reason she spent most of her time with Larissa, an inveterate gossiper. Larissa was disliked for her long tongue. God forbid she should hear any news, and the whole yard would know about it in a couple of hours. That's why when Violetta became friends with Larissa everybody warned her to keep away from this gossiper, but it wasn't like that. Their friendship strengthened every day, and every day the whole yard learned new details about her private life. As it turned out, Violetta was the daughter of a rich businessman. Her parents died in a car accident, and since Violetta was an only child, she became the rich heiress of the whole fortune. Violetta got married early. She loved her husband very much, she simply worshipped him, and he burned down almost immediately after their wedding due to some unknown disease. Violetta suffered for a long time, so she left her hometown to unwind and forget herself. After hearing this, the neighbors felt even more pity for Violetta. And everyone tried to help her in any way they could, and those who were especially desperate tried to arrange her personal life so that she would not be bored. Violetta rejected all attempts of men to get acquainted with her, arguing that she still loved her dead husband and was faithful to him. But after a while she began to notice in the society of a famous philanthropist. Their romance developed rapidly, and a couple of months later Violetta got married and flew with her new husband for a honeymoon in Bali. After that, no one saw them again. Local people said that after their departure, the businessman's real estate, cars, and firm were sold, and the funds were transferred to Violetta's account. From this everyone thought that the newlyweds decided to settle in Bali. All doubts were dispelled by investigators who appeared in the yard where Violetta lived. As it turned out, Violetta had been wanted by law enforcement agencies for a long time. She had a large number of marriages on her record, after which she became a rich widow after a while. The neighbors could not believe that such a fraudster lived next door to them, and with distrust treated the investigators. Well, such a gentle, sensitive, kind girl could not pull off so many times such scams. It was only when everyone was summoned for questioning at the police station that not everyone realized that Violetta was a black widow. She had already had 8 marriages to her credit, and all 8 of her husbands had not divorced her, but had died of unnatural causes. Moreover, all the deaths occurred in a foreign country, where the inconsolable widow requested that her deceased husband be cremated in order to have his ashes scattered there. But the most interesting thing is that Violetta was not a real name. She had already changed her documents several times, and each time she chose a beautiful and euphonious name. The only thing they found out was that Violetta's new husband had died of fuguefish poisoning. Then the inconsolable widow cremated her husband and scattered his ashes at sea. Where Violetta went, no one knew. Now all the news channels and all the newspapers could see the information about the Black Widow. For her capture even promised 5 million rubles, but in spite of all the efforts to her whereabouts was no information. Recently, a young girl appeared in a small elite Dacha village and was looking for work. According to her, Snezhana, her name came from the district center. Her mother was terminally ill, so she had to work hard to buy expensive medicine. She was married, but her husband kicked her out without a penny to her name. No one in the district center took her to work because her ex-husband was a powerful man and everyone was afraid of him. In one of the houses, Snezhana was hired after all. In a large beautiful house lived a young man. He had no parents, and his inheritance allowed him not to work and still be able to live without denying himself anything. The slim brunette with blue eyes liked the owner very much, and after a while he proposed to her. "Honey, you know how much I love you, but I'm afraid that someday you will play the game of love and throw me out of the house, just like my ex-husband." "No, what are you talking about? How could I? You men are all the same. How can I prove to you that my intentions are serious and I would never throw you out on the street?" "I don't know, you figure it out." Snezhana smiled shyly and left the room. She knew a little more, and she would get him. He was almost in her hands. All that was left was to sign the papers, then the wedding and the honeymoon. How many times had she done this before? So everything was already done on automatic, only each time she had to come up with a new story when she met him. "Honey, get ready, we're going to the notary." "What for?" "I want to prove to you that I will never leave you, so I want you to sign away this house and other property." "What for?" "I don't need it." "No, I want to do it. I want you to have confidence in me." Behind the signing of the documents, a fancy wedding and a honeymoon. Let him live, thought Snezhana. Anyway, this is the best of all the husbands she had, and now there is no way to attract suspicion. Thank you for your attention. Subscribe, rate your likes, and write your feedback and suggestions in the comments.